Welcome to the Notary Educators with Kimmi Podcast. Hosts Kimmi and Jeff Nunnally, along with Alexis Franklin, share expert insights to help you launch and grow a successful mobile notary business no matter what state you are commissioned in. Learn how to become a top-notch loan signing agent and get answers to common notary questions. Explore our all-inclusive $47 monthly training library, plus live weekly online coaching sessions with courses on general notary work, wedding efficient services, remote online notary, ink fingerprinting, apostille, translation services, and I-9 completion. Notary Educators, LLC is your one-stop shop for notary training. Tune in to the Notary Educators with Kimmi podcast and subscribe to the Notary Educators with Kimmi's YouTube channel also for more tips. Take your notary business to new heights.
Educators with Kimmi. I'm your host, Kimmi Nunnally, #1 notary educator. You heard it here first. How is it going? I want to give YouTube a few minutes to do what it does. Let a few people know that we are live. I want to welcome those who will listen to the podcast and watch the replay. What is going on up in these notary streets? Hey. How's it going? We got to wait a few minutes. We have to wait. And I'm going to tell y'all a story. I wasn't sure I wanted to share, but I'm going to because it's such a teachable moment for so many different people, industries. It doesn't matter what industry you are in. What happened with me in Zelled, because there's always a lot of controversy. Should you use it? It's bad. Zelled has made a lot of changes. I had a couple situations with my Zelled account before. Last few months, I had to go to my bank several times because I was trying to pay somebody and it would not go through. And now I understand why after what I did yesterday. So it's like a confessional, teachable moment thing. And then I'm going to ask you guys a couple questions, kind of see what your mindset is about a new task I'm undertaking or thinking about. Hey, everybody. Welcome. Welcome. We'll get right into it. Those who join us can always come back and catch it. Hey, Lisa. What's up? Yeah, so a couple stories and I'm going to tell you what I did. So I actually was paying two people some money. I was planning a little trip. And they gave me some money, and I had to give it back to them. They decided not to go. Hey, Makai 55, how are you? What's up, Harriet? Crystal, what's up? And I had to give them some money back, and I was doing it through Zelle. One of them was $200, the other one was $300. And so I'm trying to pay them through Zelle, and Makai says, I hope it didn't have to do with that random glitch that happened the other day. Girl, hey, Lori. Wait till you hear what I did. You won't even believe it. So anyway, with these two people that I'm talking about, my bank would not allow the payments to go through. Okay. So I'm like, well, what is the problem? I have the money there. Again, it was $200. It was $300. They had given me this money. I owed them this money. I need to pay them this money. So I'm telling the people who I owe the money to, I'm like, hey, I'm having a problem with my bank. I'm sounding like anybody else who do not want to pay, right? Coming up with every excuse in the book why I could not give them back their refund. So I'm like, yeah, the bank got a problem with Zelle. I said, do you have cash out there? Like, no. I'm like, oh my goodness. Okay, fine. So I go to the bank. They had a call, wherever they called, it was overseas clearly. But because I was in the branch with a branch representative, that made the process go a little bit smoother because they knew I was in there with a branch employee. So they questioned them, they questioned me, and they proceeded to unblock my Zelle account so I could pay these people. Okay, so I paid them. It happened to me twice. That was each person. I had to go to the bank. So I'm already livid, right, with my bank. I said, I'm sick of this bank. Okay, so fast forward to yesterday. Someone did some work for me. I had been saving up some money to get this job completed. And I paid the person. I had just given somebody else a smaller amount. It was like $50. I had just given them $50 for something. Okay. And then I go to pay this other person who did this job for me. And I accidentally sent $2,100 to the wrong person. To the wrong person. Now, when you're using Zelle, for those of you who may not know what Zelle is, it's like digital. You send it to someone, it comes out of your account automatically. There is no way to get the money back. My bank, I don't know about your bank, but my bank notifies me at least 2 times before it will let me hit send. It'll say, are you sure you want to send it to Joe Smith? That's one time. Then the next time it'll say, once you send it, you cannot get it back. So my bank is very clear. They let me know even when I was in there with those 2 first things I was telling you about, that there is no way to get your money back with Zelle, and they have a lot of fraud when it comes to Zelle. Okay, this is all going somewhere. So yeah, I sent somebody $2,100. So I didn't even know I did it, right? So Jeffrey's calling me. He's not home. He's calling me. He's blowing up my phone. For those of you who don't know, that's my husband. He's blowing up my phone, but every time I go to pick up the phone, it's like a glitch with Comcast or Xfinity, so it's not going through. I said, is he butt dialing me? Why is he blowing up my phone? I mean, just back after back after back, right? So I said, well, I hope he's okay. So finally I said, you know what? Let me text him. I said, hey, are you calling me? And he was like, yes. Pick up the phone. And I picked up the phone. Now this time it went through. And he's like, you accidentally paid this other person's name start with the M. M-A. They both were Latin names, so they were very similar. And I just made a mistake. I can't even say it now. So when he's telling me this, I'm like, oh my God. But when he first told me, I didn't catch, I couldn't even process. Well, the person that I accidentally sent it to is a family friend, right? That being said, though, okay. And that person said, well, hey, I noticed that you just sent me some more money. You sent me a large amount of money, but I noticed in the note it said for the household repairs that were done. And I was like, oh my God. So I'm thinking, well, it's him. Okay, cool. So now I'm trying to pay my pay my person the money that I owed them, right? But I didn't have enough in my bank account. So here I'm trying to switch some funds and make some stuff happen. And I try to do it. Zelle is like, no, you've reached your max for today. And I was like, oh my God, this person gonna think I'm not trying to pay him. So anyway, I was able to pay him from something else, and it worked out where he didn't even never know what happened. But the takeaway moments from this is pump the brakes. As I always tell you, even when I'm training, slow down. I was rushing, not a lot, because I thought like I said, at first glance, I'm looking like M.A. Other person's name is M.A. I sent it to the right person. Lo and behold, it was not. Yes, there's a daily limit. So I'm going to come back to your comments in just a second. So the person that I accidentally sent the money to, he sent me part of it back. He couldn't send all of it back because of the daily limit. So everybody's daily limit is different. He couldn't even send me back $600. So he had to send it back in 2 parts. So he sent 15 and then he sent 6 the next day. So all that being said, slow down, take your time, even when you're giving your client your Zelle information, because I have more than one Zelle. I have my personal, I have my business. So you want to really make sure that you take your time, let them know, make sure you're giving them the correct information, because you don't even want your business money to go into your personal account, and you don't want your personal to go into your business, right? So that is one thing. So make sure you're not transposing numbers. Make sure you're giving them the right email address. Make sure you're paying the right person. Make sure they're paying you. And along with this payment thing, one time I had somebody. So let me end this story. Then I'm going to tell you about this other one that happened. So he gave me back the rest of the money today. The person I paid incorrectly. The other person was paid, so they never even knew what happened. But needless to say, Zelle, you want to be super, super, super cautious with. I don't know if it's the same as Cash App, because I've never made that mistake before, ever, to pay the wrong person. But you better best believe it will not happen again. Because what if I sent it to someone who was dishonest and they didn't send me the money back, or they were like, no, you owe me that money. You know what I'm saying? That could have went bad on so many levels. And I'm telling you, when Jeffrey called me and told me what I did, I promise you, my heart almost skipped a beat. And I was just like, oh my God. Because I know Zelle is really funny and really finicky, and you can't get it back. Okay. I'm going to tell you another story about money right quick. This is all going to help you with your business. So in case you're wondering, what do this have to do with notary? If you're a business owner, you know. It got a lot to do with notary, okay? No matter what business you in. Even personal, make sure you paying the right person, okay? Makai was like, uh-oh, LOL. So yeah, so I told you what happened. That's your fault, sis. I know, Taylor. I ain't saying it wasn't. I never said it wasn't my fault. It was my fault. I just said that. So I'll just take what you're saying, Taylor, with a grain of salt, like off my back, okay? But yeah, I know I made a mistake, and that's why I'm sharing it with you. So I'm not the only person that's probably ever made this mistake, and that's why my bank, again, 2 or 3 times, is like, look, are you paying the right person? Are you sure? Are you sure? Okay, so I claim it. I did it. So, but I just want to help you not to do it or somebody else, okay? Yeah, Makai says, ouch. Lisa said, oh my goodness. Yep, I sure did. And then that daily limit thing again, back to Makai 55, it did cause me to have some more problems because I couldn't even get all the money I needed that day because that other person had a limit. And everybody's limit is different. My limit might be $2,500. Your limit might be $1,500. The next person might be $500. So the daily limit, okay? Crystal says, it's okay. Like you said, it won't happen again. Thank you, Crystal. I appreciate the sympathy and the empathy because it can happen to anybody. And like I said, I was devastated. I was absolutely devastated. Hey, Notary fam, it's Kimmi. I am here to let you know, just in case you have not heard about the Notary Business Coaching Success Program. We meet weekly. We talk about your notarial duties, how to do an acknowledgement, how to do a jurat, how to administer an oath, everything you've been asking for. And guess what else is included? Unlimited access to all of my trainings that will also include ink fingerprinting, trust/estate documents, learn how to properly execute a trust. Don't forget, we also have the private community, like-minded notaries who have been trained by me. Check out my book that I've written for each state, How to Start Your Notary Business in Alabama, California. You get the point. Wherever you're located, there's a book for your state. Well, hopefully I'll see you soon over in training. Notary Educators, LLC. We got you covered. Bye. So let me tell you about another thing. So another one is one day, and this is another teachable moment when it comes to collecting your payments, okay? Another time a client was giving me her credit card number and we had to enter it manually because my thing wasn't working, okay? My reader wasn't working. So we had to enter it manually. Hold on one second. I want to remove this person from the comments. There we go. I thought I was trying to remove them completely. Anyway, yeah, so I let this person read the card number to me, right? They're reading their credit card number to me, and I'm entering it manually. So if you're using a Square, you have different ways you can process it. You can do it electronically, right, with the little card holder like you see back in the day. You can do it with your telephone. They can tap now. All these different ways you can do it. When all else fails, I do it the old-fashioned way, which is to manually type in the number because I got to get my money, right? So I'm manually typing in the number. The client, so before I tell you that part, so I'm manually typing in the number that the client is telling me. So about 2 months later, I get a call from my bank, and they're saying, hey, this particular transaction is being reversed. And I was like, reversed? Why? They was like, the client is saying it's fraud. And I was like, fraud? What are you talking about? And I knew this lady, it wasn't fraudulent because she actually was very pleased with my service. She even gave me a tip. So I'm like, what is the problem? So anyway, I'm looking at the transaction. I'm going back. I'm looking at the credit card and everything else. So I didn't have anything to compare it to. So at this point, now I'm reaching out to my client. I said, hey, Mrs. Smith. I said, I noticed that this particular credit card transaction had been returned. I said, I wanted to make sure everything was okay with the service. And she was like, oh, no, it was great. Remember, I even gave you a tip. She remembered that, too. You know who you tipped. So she said, I even gave you a tip. I said, well, something's not right because it's telling me that my bank is telling me that it's fraudulent. Okay. So then I said, do you mind just giving me the last 4 of the credit card number that you paid with that day, if you remember? And she was like, oh, yeah, I only use 1 card. Fortunately, because most of us carry 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So she remembered which card it was, and it was the last 4 were transposed. the last two. So instead of like 7-2, it was 2-7. So that threw off the whole thing. So the person whose credit card number ends in 2-7, they did not do a transaction with me. They were correct. So that was fraudulent for them, but now I'm out my money. So the customer was like, well, hey, I'll give you your money. You can come and pick it up. And I was like, no, you don't have to do that. And she insisted. So I did go and get it. So they did a charge back to me for the $40. It was an I-9 form. And I had even given her a little deal because I thought it was going to be a faster transaction than it was. But I was glad I gave her a deal because she, like I said, she tipped me. So the tip more than compensated for what I wanted to really charge her. Okay. Dropping gems all over if you getting that. Sometimes we overcharge our clients or charge so much we don't leave them any room to tip us. There's no room. They're like, you already got all your money. I don't have no money to tip you now because you already came in the door talking about $100. Well, if you had to come in the door talking about $95, now they might tip you $5. So I don't know. It's all in how you look at it. Okay. So anyway, all that being said, so she paid me my money. All was well. But it was just so funny because I was like, dang it, I'll never let nobody else read the card to me. So that's another tip for tonight too. Don't let anybody read the credit card number to you. If there's a mistake later in the future with the process, and let it be because you transposed the number, not because your client did, okay? Very good, very good. What comments and questions do we have today about payments? Let's talk about the money. What comments? So in my business, I take Zelle, I take Cash App, I take cash. I'll take whatever they want to pay me. I'll take whatever they want to pay me. And I have Venmo. It's not my preferred method of payment. So when someone asks me what is my preferred, I always say Zelle or Cash App. I do not charge them a fee for taking the payment. I don't charge them a fee. Like some people add an extra $5 for processing. I don't. I just call that the cost of doing business, and I write it down for my tax purposes. Okay. Makai55 says, this is such a good reminder. Always important to make sure to check and then verify again, especially with any type of manual entry. And you are so right, especially when it's manual. And it's actually funny because Square charges you more when you do a manual entry than when you do it electronically. So just say, for example, I don't know for sure. So you ain't got to put it in the comments, guys, because I don't know. But I think it's, so say it's like 2.8 cents for digital or electronic. If you do it the manual way, they charge like 3% because it's more subject to human error. And they already know that. So they do even charge you a few cents more. So it's not enough to worry about. So I'm not like, I got to process it electronically because I'm not paying that extra percent. It's not that much. It's like $2, $3, whatever. Okay. So I try not to run my business where I got to be so tight with my clients, like everything. I got a nickel and dime them, as I talk about in my Start Your Notary Business book. Okay. So what questions do you all have tonight? Any questions? Well, I do have one more question for you. So I am thinking about starting a membership for the YouTube channel. I want your opinion, people, please. And what would that look like? The membership for the YouTube channel would be, we would meet one time per month. Okay. And I'm calling this like a starter membership. Okay. A starter membership. Because a lot of times people are like, well, I don't want to commit. I'm not ready for this. But they want a little bit more than what they're getting here on YouTube. They want a little bit more. So Makai55 says, this is so timely. I just got your book on pricing. Oh, yay. So what questions do you have? Yeah, the pricing book is amazing. Teaches you how to price your services. I don't include an exact dollar amount because every scenario is going to be different. And once you learn the concept of pricing, then that's when you're going to really start making your money. Because underpricing is the number one reason why people are not successful in this business too. They just don't have a clue how to price. So whatever questions you have, feel free to drop. So I'm thinking about a mentorship program, or membership program here for the YouTube channel. And like I said, what it would consist of is one session per month live via Zoom. It would also include the replays from the previous mentorship session that we had going. And that includes such topics as Canva, how to properly notarize, deeper level videos. And most of them are about an hour and a half. So the content is amazing, even though you didn't make it to those sessions. So you would have access to those sessions. So it would also include, of course, you get a little badge that you're a member. So when we're live, your comments and stuff will pop up here quicker. Also, you will get, I haven't put it out there yet. I just want your opinion if you would even be interested in signing up for it. That's why I'm just doing a quick poll right quick. Also, you would receive 70% off the individual courses, 70% off instead of the standard 60%. You would get an additional 10 because you're a member here on the YouTube channel. So again, it's just a wealth of information. The topics cover remote online notary, ink fingerprinting, field inspection, things we already talk about. It's not the same as the mentorship program. The mentorship program includes all of the courses, weekly live training every week, plus a special chat. So for some, they want a lower commitment level, and I understand that. So that's why I'm thinking about this. Let me know in the comments, what are your thoughts? Is that something that you think you would like to see, to be a part of the membership program here over on YouTube and have a behind the scenes look at what happens in mentorship, have access to those actual meetings, and every week a new session will be uploaded. So this week, let's say, for example, it was about Canva. Next week, it may be about pricing. The next week, it may be about ChatGPT. So these are topics that we go over deep diving in mentorship. So it's not the most, so yeah, let me know what you think. Is that something you would be interested in? If a few, you would give me a little feedback there. Makai says, so one of my streams of income I do within my notary business is digital court reporting. Cool. Congratulations. I recently started doing freelance with an agency, and yesterday just submitted my first invoice, part 1. That is great. So then she says, part 2, I had no sense of how to price the services, did as much research as I could, so I went in the middle of the road, but it felt too high. Do you think it's better to err on a slightly higher price then? So when I'm in doubt, I may go a little bit lower. And then I gauge how my client is responding to. So for example, I'll say, Mr. Smith, that's going to be $150. And actually, even before you get that part, when you're asking your screening questions, and I don't cover how to screen for court reporting, but it's all the same thing. You'll come up with your own list of questions for court reporting. And now that you have the questions that I teach, this will help you to see how to better price, right? Or what questions you need to ask. So that may sound like, well, how long will this appointment take? How many parties do you think will be involved in the case? You know, how many attorneys will be involved? So you want to ask questions like that. How far do you have to travel? So by the time you do all of that in your head, you're thinking, how much time is it going to take? So all of my pricing is based on how far I have to go, what kind of package is it, how many people are involved, and how much time is it going to take. When they say time is money, time is money. So I'm not going to do everything you and I just talked about for $50. And I'm not even into court reporting. Okay, if it takes me an hour and you got attorneys involved, that means they even have a higher budget. So I'm looking at all of those different things when I price my services. Who's calling me? Is it an elderly person who doesn't have a lot of money? Is it someone that's elderly but they balling? You know, is it an attorney calling me? Who's calling? Is it a mother and she has a little school note? I mean, I do a lot of thinking just that quick when I'm talking about pricing. That's why I like you to learn now how to price your services before the phone actually rings, okay? Makai says, then negotiate your way down. Yeah, so I'm not big on keep changing my price in the sense that if I tell him 150 and I'm going to say, okay, 125. And he's like, well, and I go down to 100. And he's like, oh, that's too much. I go down to 75. No, because that kind of gives desperation to me. It gives desperation. So I'm not going to just keep going down, down, down. I'm just not. I may go down one time, maybe. But I usually rather price it just the way I want it. And if they don't want me, I may not be their notary. I may not be their court reporter. Because I'm not going to do it for free, right? Right? We're not doing it for free. Hit the thumbs up button for me, people. And subscribe if you haven't. Yeah, so I'm not going to just keep negotiating my price down. Again, it gives desperation. It gives, well, are you cheating me? And my husband doesn't like that either. Sometimes I'll tell somebody, well, and it's very rare. Very, very rare. And I'll say, well, I'll do it for you this time for 25, or I'll do it this time for you for 40. He's like, no. He does not like it. He doesn't like it at all. So I don't do that. Makai says, yes, I'm waiting on their response. LOL, it's a unique scenario. The agency reached out to me because of my certification, and them offering their service is new. So the agency and I went into the arrangement being flexible with the potential charges. Yeah, and it's new for you, new for them. They've not hired anyone like this before, so that I would approach it that same way. Yeah, I would not be overly rigid, like, well, no, it's gonna be 150. I ain't doing it. Kind of reason it out with them. If they come back at a lower price point than what you actually want, then you want to negotiate, and say, well, I would love to be your court reporter. If we can add another 25, that would sound more like the budget point that I'm accustomed to working at, or the price point, or whatever you want to say. Oh, you are so welcome. What are your thoughts, Makai, on is it Makai or McKay? What are your thoughts on the YouTube membership? What are your thoughts on that? You see any value in that? Meeting once a month, access to all the recordings, 70% off all the courses. What are your thoughts? And I'm looking at a price point of probably $14.97-ish. McKay. Okay, like McKay. Okay, very good. Of course, do it. Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I think it's gonna be great. Again, it gives people a lower price point to enter into our atmosphere to receive help with their business. And again, it won't come with all the perks of the regular mentorship program, but it will have quite a bit where I think it will be profitable and beneficial. Profitable for us as a company, beneficial for you as our clients, and we work together and we both win. You receive information that you need. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it, McKay. She said you have value and you give valuable information. Yeah, so it's not a fluff membership by any means. I don't do any fluff around here. Nothing we do is fluff. I just wanted to offer a different price point, a different like I said, a different way for people to enter into the program. Harriet says absolutely. Hey, Harriet, what's going on with you? Yeah, so to just give people an opportunity to enter again into our space and kind of get familiar with us. And then as your business continues to grow, and you may want to get different courses, and then you can get them at 70% off. You may not need all of the training that we offer. You might need only apostilles. So during our session monthly together, if you have questions about apostilles, we can handle it. If you need more than that, then we'll, of course, refer you over to our mentorship program. But I think we'll go ahead and get that set up and hopefully have it rolled out by the end of the month. The membership program here on YouTube. And that way it gives the people options again as to what they need to help grow their business, okay? So, yeah, I'm excited about that. Lori says I would go for it. Thank you, Lori. I appreciate it. Yeah. So I'm kind of excited about it, actually, because, again, anytime I find that I put the people first, it always works out. So we can't do it for free because we do enough for free here. But GG Solutions, I agree. I joined and love the mentorship. Hey, GG Solutions. Now I know who you are. How you doing there? Yeah. So I'm glad you're in the mentorship program too, and it's going to change your business. It already has. I know that for a fact, based on our phone calls and stuff. So our phone call, and working through some of your situations that you've already encountered. So, like I said, it'll just give people a different price point to be able to enter and to receive some help, because everybody's budget is different. Everybody's journey is different. So it's all good. I always try to think, what can I do to help the people? What else do we have going on? Any other questions, comments, concerns? Any questions about the YouTube membership? And again, I'm hoping to roll that out by June 1st, because we have to get the videos uploaded, get the Zoom links, get the discount on the courses up there for you. So I'm pretty excited, again, to roll that out. And that meeting would just be once a month. So And then for our actual mentorship program, we meet weekly. We meet weekly to discuss different topics. So what else is going on? I did want to address one more thing here. This is just kind of something it's coming up in one of our mentor programs sessions, and we're going to be going through our handbook. So everybody hasn't gone through their handbook, or it's a new year, so people are not aware of some changes in their handbook. So somebody brought out, like, we have 3 in the Georgia handbook. 3. So one for sure is that now a journal is required on certain types of notarizations. Well, that's not what we teach at Notary Educators. We teach you to have a journal on every single notarization, okay? But the state of Georgia says you only need it if they're not self-improving, this or that, whatever. It's a whole lot of hoopla. That's not what we teach. That's not what we do. That's not who we are. I teach you to have a journal on everything. If you have not seen the journal collection, check it out. We got cats, we got dogs, we got purple, snow leopard print, anything you want. You got 10 choices there. It's actually going to be more, but I'm waiting to fix one more. I got a pretty orange one and another hot pink one that's out. So, but they're, I guess you can buy them, but I haven't put them out officially yet. So anyway, those are coming. So check out the Notary collection, Notary Journal collection. And in the journal has everything you need for your notary business. So another thing, we got a question here. McKay says the NNA is good for tracking the law changes in terms of their platform. Yes, you can find out a lot of stuff, McKay. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Hey, Pamela Murphy, how are you? How's it going? Yes, McKay is correct. The NNA does try to keep up with all the changing laws and everything, but I like to go straight to the horse's mouth, and that means go directly to my handbook. I don't say I'm not trusting the NNA, because I do. I'm an ambassador for them, so I highly recommend the NNA all the time. But certain things is like, I need to know what my state handbook says. And I don't want to rely just on what snippets they've pulled. I like to, it's a whole new, it's probably only 3 actual things that are different in there, but I'm going to actually lay eyes on it myself. Again, I want to make sure I know what my state handbook says. And the same thing if you're trying to buy that primer. The NNA primer is actually, how do you put it? It's just a recap of what your actual state handbook says. But again, I'm always going to push back to you and say, have your state laws, your state handbook. You can have a primer from the NNA. You can call the NNA. You can read all that. But at the end of the day, if something goes down, if something jumps off, you need to be able to say, in my handbook, I saw ... They're not going to take, well, the NNA told me, the primer from the NNA said, okay? So I know the way I teach my methodology may be a little bit different, but I'm a little old-fashioned in the sense that I'm going to cover myself to the point that Pamela is making. You need to cover yourself. And in order for me to truly say I cover myself, I need to know what my state handbook says. Now, if my handbook isn't clear, because we had a situation over in chat, in our mentorship chat last week, where we went back and forth for a minute, and everybody had their 2 cents on what they wanted to say, what they wanted to contribute to the conversation and everything. And at the end of the day, how we had to leave it, right, is that notary has to make the final decision. Okay? That notary has to make the final decision. So I'm the mentor, I'm the educator, right? I can tell you what I saw. I can tell you how I understand it. I can tell you best practice on what I have done, what I do, right? But at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, you are the person who are signing that document. You are the person who is completing that journal, and your name is on that notary commission. So that's how we left it in the chat that day. And I was like, we're not going to continue to talk about this for the next 2 hours. We're just not. because everyone's going round and round and round and round, and everybody is open to interpretation, you know? So some things are open. It's not black and white. My shirt is actually black and white, right? So if I told you it was red, you could clearly say, no, Kimmy, there's no red in that shirt. There's just not, right? But, you know, so everybody at the end of the day have to make their own decision what they're going to do. So that's how we had to end up leaving that. So McKay says true. And if she's like true, like any good research, you cite the source document. Yes. Yes. And in my case, again, I'm going to always let my main source document be my handbook. Okay. And all of you don't have a handbook. Some of you have a, maybe like a pamphlet, or you have, maybe like a couple pages or something, but we actually have a whole handbook. Now, most of you are able to go to your state's website and download it. In Georgia, we have to buy the handbook, and it's $10. So it's well worth the investment. Because some people are like, I don't have a handbook, it's $10. You better get your handbook. I don't care if it was $50. You need that handbook. Kiss Coupon and says, hello, family. Just joined the live. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. So welcome to those of you who are just joining. I do see we have a number of new people here. Tonight, we were just talking about what happened when I accidentally paid somebody $2,100 through Zelle, how to be cautious when using Zelle. So I'm not going to tell you not to use it, okay? I'm not going to tell you not to use it. I want you to accept all types of payments, but just take your time. Just take your time and make sure you're paying the right person, and make sure the right person is paying you, okay? Make sure they're paying the right person. Kissing Coupon and says, oh, Harriet says, I'm sorry. Harriet says, did you find it difficult to get calls when you were brand new starting out? Oh, yeah. It took like 4 months. Oh, yeah. For me, my business actually started popping once I got my Google business page together. And that's why I'm so big on getting it together. So I had a Google page. I didn't have any pictures on it. They didn't know what I did. It wasn't even very wordy. It wasn't search engine optimized. It was none of that. So I had a page, but nothing was happening to it. It's like you have a house, but you've not decorated it. You know, you just did good to get a house. Anybody ever been in that state? You know, or you just did good to get a new apartment, and people come over like, look like don't nobody live here. Because you don't have no furniture, right? You don't have no furniture. It's not painted. You don't have no curtains. You don't have no carpet, you know. You might have carpet, but you don't have any type of furnishings. You don't have any pictures up. And they're like, man, it look like nobody don't live here. You ever gone to an office space and that happened before? You're in an office space, a new doctor's office, and they just moved in. That's how my Google page looked. It looked like nobody's home. It looked like nobody was at home. She don't have a business. What kind of business does she have? But once I started putting my pictures on my page and showing me in different settings, and always with my flower, always with a smile, you know, that made a difference. That made a difference. So, you know, that's exactly what you need to do with your Google page. Does your Google page look like it's vacant? An empty lot? If you know, you know. Or does it look like an edible arrangement? It's like, ooh, it's so pretty. It's so colorful, right? All right, let's see. We got, so for me, after about 3 to 4 months and getting my Google page maximized, my business started taking off. All right. Kissing Coupon says, I am a new loan signing agent. My name is Lori. Hey, Lori. We got another Lori here. Welcome. She cracking up. What state are you in, Lori? If you find that you need some mentorship, you can always check out the program at notaryeducatorsllc.com, okay? And make sure you know how to properly notarize before you start doing any assignments, okay? Please make sure you know how to do your notarial duties. Are you comfortable with your notarial duties, Lori? McKay's laughing. So Lori says, yes, ma'am. First impressions are lasting impressions. Yes. Yes. She's in Florida. Oh, you're welcome, Harriet. Definitely signing up. Yeah, check it out. NotaryEducatorsLLC.com. And again, all the courses are included in the mentorship. So the membership is coming soon. And I'm so excited about that too. Again, it's just a different way for us to connect. It will be one live Zoom monthly. And that day will rotate so everybody can participate. typically probably toward the beginning of the month. And of course, you know how I do it. There'll always be some pop-up lives in the YouTube membership. I got to make sure I don't put the two together. And I don't know that I'll put that on the website yet. I'm still thinking about it. I really don't know yet. But anyway, we'll see what happens. And my goal, if I decide to go ahead and pursue it, will be probably by June 1st. The YouTube one will be up and ready. And that'll have like a $14.97 price point. And for actual mentorship, when you're actually ready to start doing jobs and need that one-on-one, you know, if we have to call you, we will. And that's not our first way to contact you in mentorship. We have a group meet. And we're teaching in that group meet all day long. People have stuff going on. So people are growing their businesses. We're very pleased. Somebody last month made $1,000 in just field inspections. So that made me feel really good. We've been talking about adding field inspections, adding translation services. I mean, matter of fact, I'm waiting on the translation. I hope it comes tonight. I got a translation I'm working on. I mentioned it I mentioned it in the session yesterday, but I'm working on a translation service for my client. He has a car being brought over from Puerto Rico, and before he can get it registered here in the state, that document needs to be translated. So you don't have to speak Japanese and French and all these different languages. You hire a translating company to do the translation piece for you, and I have a course for that, and that's included in the mentorship, or you can buy it separately. All the courses are 60% off. Coupon code is WIN, WIN 2025. WIN 2025. All right, what else we got? We're going to start wrapping up. Anything else? Any other questions while I'm here about membership with YouTube or mentorship? Notary Business Success Mentor Program. So for all things notary, you can check out NotaryEducatorsLLC.com. Do we have any other questions? Anything else before I head out? Going once? Going twice? I know a lot of people are on vacation right now. They're wrapping up school. People are graduating. Weddings are happening. I went to a wedding over the weekend. Some of you probably saw that. May the 4th be with you. Some of you probably saw that. So we had a good time at the wedding. And then I went to a graduation last week. I got another part 2 of the graduation Thursday. So I too am doing a lot of life these days. And we had guests stay with us that came in for the wedding. So it was just like, I'm tired. But it was fun though. It was fun. Lori says, I have been out on 15 signings since being certified in April 2025. I've been a notary since 2018. I have a friend who has been an agent for years in New York, and now she's relocated to Florida. Okay, cool. So it sounds like you may be comfortable with your notarizations. If you're not completely, though, because it's one thing to just kind of be winging it, kind of seeing stuff, and then actually know what you're doing. Do you know what a certified copy is? Do you know how to do that? Do you know how to execute a document? Do you know all the little behind the scene things that go? Do you have your embosser? Do you do general notary work? Do you do estate packages? It's so many things now you can do with your notary commission. So I usually like people just to start at the beginning, and then you have a great foundation. Keep it moving and keep on going. All right. Anything else before we wrap up? It's so nice. I might go sit out front for a few minutes and get a little air. I need to do my elliptical too. Okay, guys. Well, on behalf of Notary Educators, let's see. Lori says, still got more to learn, sis. Yeah, and you take your time. It's going to always be something. I learn something every day. Literally, every day. All right. Well, I'm going to say bye, guys. On behalf of Notary Educators, it has been my pleasure. I will see you around. All things notary, NotaryEducatorsLLC.com. And much success to you all. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Notary Educators with Kimmi podcast. We hope you found today's episode helpful and inspiring as you build your notary business. Don't forget to explore our all-inclusive $47 monthly training notary library for more resources to expand your skills and services. Stay connected with us on YouTube at Notary Educators with Kimmi for even more tips, tricks, and industry insights. Be sure to subscribe and share this podcast with others who want to succeed in the notary field. Until next time, keep growing and learning, and take your notary business to the next level. See you soon! Don't forget, for all things notary related, visit notaryeducatorsllc.com.